Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I was doing some research on a different video at NASA's Image and Video Library, which I gotta say is just one of my favorite websites. If you haven't been, definitely go give it a visit. And I came across this cool, update video that NASA put out talking about what's been going on at the International Space Station for the first half of 2023. And it was kind of like a humble brag video, which they 100% deserve to do. And the video definitely had updates on topics that we've covered on this channel, as well as some interesting little nuggets about stuff that they're doing up there that I wouldn't necessarily make a whole video about, but are definitely worth sharing. So I will let NASA take it from here, but I'll interject every now and again just to provide a little context as well as some extra info.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Nilüfer Ramji. It's hard to believe, but here we are halfway through 2023 with 9 spacewalks, 2 crews, 1 private astronaut mission, and let's not forget, all the science and research. The space station crews have been hard at work making history. Welcome to our halftime show. The first half of this year welcomed 15 individuals to the space station, including American, Emirati, Japanese, Russian, and Saudi crew members. Just before Crew 5 returned home, NASA's SpaceX Crew 6 mission launched to the space station on March 2nd, taking 4 new crew members to the orbiting laboratory. Crew 6's science mission includes cutting-edge research aimed at keeping astronauts in spacecraft safe during deep space exploration and studies that could lead to improved medical treatments for humans back on Earth. Crew 6 remains on board and will come home following an approximate 6-month stay. For more than 22 years, NASA has supported a continuous U.S. human presence in low Earth orbit. The agency's goal is a low Earth orbit marketplace where NASA is one of many customers, and the private sector is leading the way. NASA, Axiom Space, and SpaceX launched Axiom Mission 2, the second private astronaut mission to the International Space Station on May 21st.
Okay, this is me interjecting. Now, I didn't cover this launch, but Axiom 2 is Axiom Space's second all-private astronaut mission to the International Space Station. Axiom 2 flew to space in SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft atop its Falcon 9 rocket. And this mission marks a pivotal step towards the Axiom Station, which is the planned world's first commercial space station and successor to the ISS. And the idea is to have the first 4 Axiom models attached to the International Space Station, and then eventually it will detach and form its own space station, which we will then add on to, much like we did when we were building the ISS. And part of the design includes this gorgeous glass-walled cupola, which Axiom calls the largest window observatory ever constructed for the space environment. Okay, back to the video.
The crew stayed on the space station for 8 days, performing experiments and outreach before returning to Earth. This year, astronauts continued work that they began in 2021 as they installed the 5th and 6th International Space Station Rollout Solar Arrays, or IROSAs, in a series of spacewalks. The new arrays are 60 feet long by 20 feet wide and will shade a little more than half of the original arrays, which are 112 feet long by 39 feet wide. The 7th and 8th IROSAs will be installed on future spacewalks. Each new IROSA will produce more than 20 kilowatts of electricity, and once all 8 are installed, will enable a 30% increase in power production over the station's current arrays. Operational activities aren't the only highlights this year. Researchers announced the achievement of 98% water recovery in the U.S. segment of the space station, the ideal recovery needed for life support systems on long-duration missions beyond low Earth orbit. In March, the crew harvested dwarf tomatoes in the station's veggie facility as part of the Veg 5 experiment to examine the effects of light quality and fertilizer on fruit production, microbial safety, and nutritional value.
Now, this part I thought was super interesting because growing fruits and veggies have definitely been a challenge in space. The environment on the ISS is CO2 rich and exposed to potentially harmful solar radiation. They also lack soil microbes and have altered gravity and need to use recycled high salt water. But there are clear benefits to being able to grow your own fruits and veggies in space, so this is a project that clearly is very important and one that we are still working on. But even in this difficult environment, astronauts have successfully grown and eaten radishes, chili peppers, and lettuce. So I was pretty excited to see dwarf tomatoes added to that list.
The station's biofabrication facility also returned this year with upgrades. During its first trip to space in 2019, the facility successfully printed a partial human knee meniscus and a large volume of human heart cells. The new capabilities aim to further human tissue printing research to help alleviate organ shortages for patients in need of transplants by printing replacement organs and tissues. And if you think that was a lot, the second half of 2023 will be just as exciting. We have more spacewalks and cargo missions ahead, along with the launch of SpaceX Crew 7 and Soyuz MS-24. Later this year, NASA astronaut Frank Rubio, along with Russian cosmonauts Sergei Prokopyev and Dmitry Petelin, will hit the 365-day mark on September 21st. They are scheduled to return home in late September, with Rubio as the new American record holder for the longest single spaceflight.
Now, if you guys remember, I covered these 3 astronauts and them getting stuck in space in this previous video. They were part of a mission on the Soyuz MS-22 space capsule that was docked at the International Space Station when they looked out the window and saw this. I covered all the details on this in that previous video, including what struck them, how they got stranded, what the plan was to get them home. So if you haven't seen that, I will put a link in the description below. But I put that video out 6 months ago, and they're still up there. Crazy. But it looks like they are finally coming home, and when they do, Mr. Frank Rubio is going to be a new record holder. So I'll let NASA wrap us up.
And that's a wrap for our halftime report. Keep following along on social media and here for all the activities taking place aboard the orbiting lab. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
So yeah, that's the video. I just thought it was an interesting update as far as what the ISS has been up to this year. It's not necessarily massive headline breaking news kind of stuff, but it's important. And I think it's good to have these updates that just kind of remind the public of the amazing work that is going on in the International Space Station day in and day out. And not just the eye-catching drama of getting up there and getting back down. So what did you guys think was the most interesting? Potential new space station, rescued astronauts, space tomatoes? I think I will pin my vote in the comments below. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.